Traveling Fearless is globetrotting again, and we are spending some time in Madrid, Spain. Well, not today. We are leaving Madrid for the day to visit Avila and Segovia. It's not unusual that Alfredo and I explore the outer edges of places we are visiting. We booked a full-day excursion with a tour group heading to two destinations, Segovia and Avila. We normally try and do private tours, but this one promised to have a small fun group and with a comfortable ride. And they did deliver on what was promised, and it only took about an hour and a half to get to Segovia. Strategically placed high on a plateau, we head upwards towards El Alcazar de Segovia. I found out this romantic fortress has been rumored to be the inspiration for Cinderella's castle in Walt Disney World. And its fairy tale good looks doesn't surprise me regarding this rumor.
Yeah!
This monolithic structure was home to many royal families of Europe. It also served as a fortress from invaders, a state prison, the Royal College of Artillery and Military Historical Archives. A ship-shaped fortress with Islamic influences, this castle is perfect for die-hard history buffs. Each room is filled with unique stories and past sagas, each noticeably different from the era that they were built in. Dating back to 1120, this castle is on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Alcazar of Segovia was considered a privileged location and becoming a favorite residence for the Crown of Castile, including Princess Isabella, who proclaimed queen in 1474 of Castile. The wedding between Felipe II and Anna of Austria was also held here. Once the court settled in Madrid, the Alcazar lost its status of a royal residence, and that's when, surprisingly, the castle was turned into a state prison for over 2 centuries. Later, in 1764, King Carlos III established the Royal Artillery School at the castle, and then a place for military historical archives. By far, this room is my favorite. The Monarch's Room, or Room of Kings. Arranged in chronological order, clockwise, all of the kings and queens of Spain sit high near this beautiful ceiling. The views from outside the castle is fantastic. We can see why this land was so admired. The Alcazar of Segovia is totally worth a visit and will leave a lasting fairy tale impression. The morning cool breeze has now been replaced with the warm afternoon sun, and it's absolutely beautiful. We follow our group back down on the winding medieval cobblestone street towards Segovia's Old Town. And we get a glimpse of our next landmark, Cathedral de Segovia, a very Gothic and almost castle-like structure that stands at the highest point of Old Town. Upon entering, we are instantly greeted with vibrant stained glass windows, fine sculptures, artwork, and beautiful decorated altars. The cathedral also has an archive room that preserves more than 500 antique books, including the first book printed in Spain called Sinodel de Overfluente. Segovia's rich, complex history begins with the Romans of 80 BC and continued to flourish through the ages. It offers romantic fairy tale views while also giving off a medieval world charm. The streets of Old Town are really fun to wander around in. They offer many sidewalk cafes, unique boutiques, and confectionery shops. As we get closer to the center of the plaza, the hub of the Old Town, we spot the Roman Aqueduct. Wow! This remarkable monument is in impeccable condition. 20,400 granite blocks without any cement, and rows of 167 arches have held together throughout 2 millennia. This aqueduct channeled water 17 kilometers or 10 miles from the river in the mountains through a deep valley to the ancient city, and to my surprise, is still in use to this day.
Carrie and I are about to eat this delicious lunch in the city of Segovia, right next to the aqueduct. This beautiful structure was constructed over 2,000 years ago. Pretty amazing place.
Still in awe of this magnificent backdrop, we wanted to continue our admiration with this perfect view and have it with an amazing lunch. We literally found a front row seat at Maison di Candido, a restaurant that is rated best in the world. Their specialty is the roast suckling pig, or cocinio acido. The criteria for serving both of these pigs is very strict. The pigs cannot be heavier than 4 to 5 kilograms, milk-fed only, not older than 3 weeks, a special breed, and a special menu for the feeding mother. Combined with the talents of Candido's chefs and a very special oven, this family's business is keeping their legacy, serving magic on a plate. As you can see, we didn't leave a thing behind and consumed every last morsel. We definitely give Candido's a 10 out of 10 rating. Segovia was a great visit, and we could have spent another day here. But our day is passing quickly, and we still have another place to visit. We all load back onto the bus and head toward Avila. An archaic city that is protected by walls and is surprisingly not yet overrun with tourists, making this a pleasant place to visit. On market day, the square is usually set up with vendors selling fresh goods. Today, the square is empty, with the exception of our tour group and the echoes of our tour guide reciting its history on a loudspeaker. Further into the city of Avila presents deep religious history. There are many Romanesque churches, cathedrals, a basilica, and the famous Convento de Saint Teresa. Saint Teresa was an influential and pivotal figure of her generation. She was dedicated to following a very spiritual life and devoted most of her time traveling around Spain, setting up new convents. Saint Teresa is credited with reviving Catholicism in the 1560s and taught people to look for God within themselves, pray with their own words, and to seek to hear God's voice. Last but not least, the wall that was built around the city was to control the entrances of both people and goods, and it also guarded the city from outbreaks of the plague. Well, this brings us to our conclusion of Madrid, but we are not done yet with Spain. Tomorrow, we take a speed train to Sevilla. Let's keep this journey going and join us on our next adventure.
On behalf of Traveling Fearless and the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we're looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.